There is a number that football has never produced before. Not 18, not the record, not the hat-trick against Algeria, not the double against Austria, not the 6 consecutive tournaments, or the 28 appearances, or the 39th birthday arriving in 2 days. The number is 12. 12 World Cup goals scored after the age of 35. Here is why that number matters more than the record itself. The previous best, the most any player in the history of this competition had ever scored after turning 35, was 5. Roger Milla, Cameroon, 1990. 5 goals. A performance so extraordinary, it became the defining image of an entire tournament. A 38-year-old dancing around corner flags in Italy while the world stood completely still. Messi has 12. More than twice Milla's record. More World Cup goals after 35 than Harry Kane has scored at the tournament in his entire career. More than Cristiano Ronaldo. More than Diego Maradona. More than Neymar. More than Thierry Henry. More than Rivaldo. More than Romario. Every player on that list represents a complete World Cup career. A full arc from debut to exit. Messi, after his 35th birthday, has outscored all of them. That is what this moment actually means. And to understand why it is possible at all, you have to go back to the beginning. June 16, 2006. An 18-year-old comes off the bench for Argentina against Serbia and Montenegro in Germany. He has been on the pitch for less than 2 minutes. He receives the ball on the left side of the penalty area, cuts inside, and finishes low into the far corner. His first World Cup goal. His first touch of consequence on the biggest stage in football. The date is June 16, 2006. 20 years later, almost to the day, on June 16, 2026, Lionel Messi walks out in Atlanta for Argentina's opening match against Algeria. He is 38 years old. He scores a hat-trick, his first ever at a World Cup, tying Miroslav Klose's all-time record of 16 goals on the same date he scored his first, 2 decades apart. That is not a coincidence that football produces. That is a career so long and so sustained that the calendar itself bends around it. Now here is the question the number demands. How? Not rhetorically, specifically. How does a player who has been in elite professional football since he was 13 years old, who turns 39 this Wednesday, who plays for Inter Miami in Major League Soccer, who was not even certain he would commit to this tournament until close to the last moment, how does he arrive at the 2026 World Cup and score 5 goals in 2 matches against opposition that prepared specifically to stop him? The answer is not simple, but it starts with something his own teammates have described, and that the data of this tournament confirms. Messi does not do the same things at 38 that he did at 18. He cannot sprint the same distances. He cannot press for 90 minutes. He cannot cover the ground that a young Messi covered in the 2006 and 2010 editions, when Argentina's attack was built around his movement. What he does now is something different, something rarer. He reads the game at a speed nobody else in the stadium is operating at. He knows, before the ball arrives, where the space will be. He does not need to create the moment. He recognizes it a half-second before anyone else and arrives exactly there. His first goal against Austria on Monday followed a blocked shot inside the box. Most players, at any age, are still reacting to the block when the ball breaks. Messi was already positioned for the rebound. He slotted it home first time, low into the near corner, with Austrian defenders still turning around. That is not athleticism. That is something accumulated over 20 years of living inside football at the highest level. It cannot be taught. It cannot be replicated. It is the specific product of playing 28 World Cup matches, 201 appearances for Argentina, a career's worth of patterns absorbed and stored until reading the game becomes as automatic as breathing. Lisandro Martinez, his Argentina teammate, said it directly after the Austria match. He said there is no need to compare him to anyone, because he stands alone at the top. That is not hyperbole from a player who is fond of his captain. That is a precise description of what it looks like to play in front of him every day in training and in matches. And then there is the missed penalty, because the Messi story at this World Cup is not only the record and the goals, it is the full shape of the man. In the 9th minute against Austria, With the record within reach, a penalty was awarded. Messi stepped up. He stuttered in his run-up, a hesitation visible to everyone in the stadium and to every camera trained on him, and put the ball wide of the bottom right corner. Deathly silence at the Dallas Stadium. The moment the record had been denied. He has now missed penalties in 3 different World Cups. No other player in history holds that particular distinction. And the response, in the 38th minute, was to run late into the Austrian penalty area, have his first shot blocked, and slot home the rebound without hesitation. The record goal, scored the hard way, through a mistake and an immediate correction, in the same match, on the same stage. After the game, when he was asked about the tears he had wiped away after his first goal against Algeria a week earlier, the tears that had nothing to do with football, the tears that came from the difficult days he has been carrying while his father, Jorge, undergoes treatment for a health issue back home, he said, "I went through some difficult days. I'm grateful to the entire delegation and my teammates because they were always by my side, giving me a lot of strength." He is carrying his father's illness on the same trip on which he became the greatest World Cup scorer in history. He is doing it in a country where he had been uncertain he would even compete. He is doing it at an age when every other player at this level of the competition has already retired or declined into something lesser. And he is doing it by scoring 12 goals after turning 35, when the previous record was 5. Here is what the number actually means. It means that football, which is often understood as a young person's game, built on speed and distance, and the raw physical capacity that diminishes with age, contains within it a different kind of quality, one that does not diminish, one that accumulates. The ability to see the game before it happens, to be in the right place, not because you ran there fastest, but because you understood before anyone else that it was the right place to be. To miss a penalty in the 9th minute and score the record-breaking goal in the 38th, because the miss does not change what you know about yourself or what you are capable of. Roger Milla danced at 38, and the world fell in love with the idea that football could extend that far into a life. Messi is 38 years and 363 days old. He has 18 World Cup goals. He has a father in recovery at home. He has a match against Jordan on Sunday and a knockout round beyond that. The record is his. The question the number poses, how far can this actually go, does not have an answer yet, which is exactly why you should still be watching. If you've followed Messi long enough to feel the weight of what this week represents, subscribe and tell me in the comments, of everything he has done across 6 World Cups, what moment do you think actually defines him? I read every reply.